So if you saw my last video, I had my what I like and what I don't like about my new CZ455. And the only thing I really didn't love about it was the trigger. So my plan this evening is I'm going to take the action out of the stock. I'm going to take the trigger assembly apart. And my plan is to take the stock spring off and to just snip it. And I'll put it back in, I'll do some pulls. Trigger pulls, and right now it's pulling around 2 pounds, just under 2 pounds, and it also seems to have quite a bit of creep. Well, I shouldn't say quite a bit, but it definitely has some creep in it, so we'll see. I mean, honestly, I feel like there's no risk here. As far as, you know, if I end up, you know, wrecking the spring, I'll just order the I think it's called the, what is it, the Yo Dave's or something, a trigger kit for this, and then that's it, and then I'll fix it that way. But I've done this little trick a lot on a lot of my guns, and you know, I'm gonna put a discretion in right away, which is that, you know, if you're modifying your trigger and you use my method, I take no responsibility. I mean, obviously, you know, modify your gun at your own risk, but I think that the way I'm going to do it, I'm going to snip a very little amount off that spring. I really want to get it to around a pound, maybe just over a pound. With it set, it's called a, well, it's an adjustable trigger. So I guess they call it a set trigger is what they call it. So you can set the tension. So I'll have it set at the lightest setting right now, and then that's where I'm going to start at. So on the lightest setting, if I can get it down to a pound, and then I can always adjust up a little bit from there as desired. So I'll check back with you in a little bit. Alright, honestly this only took about a minute so far. So if you guys aren't sure, to take the action screws out of a CZ455, it's a Torx T30. And once I took it out, action comes out. And what I'm doing, and I'm going to have to make sure this focuses here for us, is... hopefully I can get that to focus, is there's a tiny little sort of sear that you have to press out. And all I did was literally just use like a punch, and just on the other side, just gave it a couple gentle little taps. And that's it. That's going to come out, and then that's going to allow us to take this spring out and cut it slightly. Once I've cut it, I'll put it back in. I guess I'll put the sear back in, really. I'll do some pulls, see where I'm at. I'm going to do this multiple times realistically because I don't want to cut too much off. I'll be just doing like a couple little rings at a time until I find the desired pull weight that I like, and then we'll put it back together. Alright guys, I just wanted to show you what that's going to look like. So this is basically what a set trigger looks like on a CZ455. So you've got just this little piece here, and there's your spring that just technically just sort of goes in there, and that all just sort of rides up in there, and that's what sets the tension. So looking at this, I'm going to cut probably just 2 rings off, and then we'll see what happens. Alright guys, so that's it now. I took, so simple actually. All you basically do, like I say, literally is you just have to tap that one little piece out. It comes out so simple, just a gentle tap with a punch, and that comes out, and that's it. And then just cut the spring down. I started at like I say, I did 2 coils to begin with, and it got down to about 1.5 pounds. I was almost going to stop there. But I thought, you know, it's a set trigger. I'd rather get it down to about 1 pound on the lowest setting possible, and then I can always increase from there. So in the end now, I would say I started doing half rings. So I did it about 3 or 4 times, about 4 times. So I think I would say I took 3.5 rings off that spring. And I wouldn't do any more than that. So now, on the trigger pull, I'll try to get this focused for you guys. There we go. So that's where we stopped. Oh, so there we go. Exactly at 1 pound. And I mean, it's super consistent every pull like that. And you know, some people might think 1 pound's too light, but you know, for me this is a bench gun, and You know, at least for now it is, and we'll see. I mean, if I find it's a little bit too light, no big deal. I mean, 2 screws, you take the action out of the stock, and you just tension that up a little bit on that spring, and get it maybe up to 1.5 pounds. So, like I say, I think this is really well, it took 10 minutes, and it's free, and I have to admit, you know, now that that spring is shorter, I mean, obviously you're taking some of the travel out of the trigger, so obviously now it's crisp. It's crisper, I would say. There's less creep. There's almost no creep now, and it's lighter. So I think this is going to be seriously an awesome, quick little mod for the CZ455. Again, you know, disclaimer: I take no responsibility if you modify your gun. I'm just showing you sort of, you know, what's maybe possible with a stock gun. But again, I want, you know, I'd feel so terrible if someone set theirs too light and it accidentally went off and it was a bad situation. But I mean, again, for me, my disclaimer: this is a bench gun. This is only ever when I'm at the range. Gun's always pointed in a safe direction downrange, and quite frankly, I have had it where my triggers are set too late, and all that happens is that the sear clicks over, but the gun doesn't go off. I mean, just what happens is you just don't have a trigger pull, so that gets really annoying. You know, when you lower the bolt, and then if you lower it and it's too light, like I say, it's just the sear just clicks, and that's it. You don't really get a trigger pull out of it. It's just not going to work. So. But anyway, this is what I did from my CZ455. I'm not going to have time to go to the range tomorrow, but hopefully by next weekend I can go out, test it, and if it's working really good, I'll do some groups for you guys and show you sort of where this thing's at. And I'm not worried about 25 yards. I mean, we know that this gun group's fantastic, so I'll be doing 50 yards. Might even go to the 100-yard range if it's not if it's a super calm day, and show you guys how the CZ455 can group. Well, that's it, guys, for this video. If you like this video, please click like. And as always, please click subscribe. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye. Just wanted to give you one more final show of the finished trigger now on the CZ455 at 1 pound. And I do have a piece of spent brass in here. That's it, guys. Beautiful.